Welcome to AmberShaper something, whatever. Put in a troll type name here. This is Frontal Lobe with Adult Swim. Here is your tips and tricks guide. Tip 1, don't have some melee DPS run up the stairs and just try to look at him and pull it. Well, maybe do that, because that's what ended up with our kill. First thing's a scalpel. You just run away from it. The slimes. Here's your tip of the day. Make sure there's at least 2 DPS on it. We had 1, hoping for the best. It just overwhelmed people. If you have a paladin, you're not going to really use bop for much else. So when you see a slime on a healer, just bop them. Now, the one thing you want to look out for is if they're taking a whole bunch of damage from that dot, bop doesn't help. It's a magic dot. But immunities do help. So we had the healers calling out when it was preferential for them to have someone immunity off, say Ice Block, Bubble, or whatnot. Divine Shield is what I mean by bubble, not bop. What I would do, we would just keep an eye out for a healer kind of getting tacked on by one of those slimes. But we had a lot more success. We had a lot of wipes, just too many slimes, too much crap. Now, this whole fight comes down to one thing. Just like Gorefiend, Waddly Who, and Black Temple, if you were around back then, had this funny, ghost thing, and you had 25 people, and when it really came down to was enough people getting the ghost thing to practice it. Well, that's this. You become one of these AmberShaper dudes, and you whack on the boss. You have 4 abilities. You're going to hit the number 1 key to do a big spike in damage, and you're going to hit the number 2 key to interrupt yourself. Now, you're going to wipe to a bunch of things. You're going to wipe to people sucking at hitting the button. Fine. You're going to wipe to DBM yelling at you to hit the button at the wrong time. So what I suggest is go /DBM, go down to Heart of Fear, uncheck all that crap that's going to remind you, and just look for the cast bar. That's the most important thing you can look for, is that cast bar. So you're going to wipe to people not knowing what they're doing. The way we got around this, it's a little RNG, but the way we got around it is if someone knew, we talked them through an event. All right, dude, you're going to hit the 1 button, and the way it maths out, if you hit the 1 button on cooldown 3 times, right after you hit the 3rd time, the cast is going to happen. So it's just 1, 2. I mean, I'm simplifying it, and yes, people are better than this, but little tips and tricks help. Now, when someone becomes the AmberShaper construct thing, everyone switches DPS, right? There's a timer. We just put someone in charge of it. The way we kind of run our raids is people kind of step forward on their own and kind of call out things, right? We're not like this, tyrannical kind of, not like the dinosaur, but more like king kind of dude. I guess that's an aristocracy. We'll just move on. Our melee DPS was really good at calling out when focus needed to be all shifted to him and what the countdown was, right? Because you got to kill him before he runs out of power. Because if he runs out of power on the energy bar, he dies. That being said, remember, this is a tips and tricks guide. I'm not going to go through the fucking fight and just read a spellbook to you. I find that kind of patronizing. I'd rather just give you the tips and tricks it took our regular guild to kill a regular boss, right? We end up doing in between 10% and 25% mark for every tier, so we consider ourselves kind of an upper end regular guild without being fancy and rating. We have real lives and stuff. So we just think these tips and tricks aren't really told in many of the top 1%er guides, so that's why we do it. So if you have little tips and tricks, even though people should know that fucking thing and blah, 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 just put them in comments, and it helps people out, and that's the whole goal of these videos. Let's just all help each other out, get through the regular modes, and start working on the heroics. Auto attack does a shit ton of damage, so make sure you're within range of auto attack. Make sure you're within range to hit the other buttons. That's another thing. The third thing you're going to wipe to is the UI boss. Oh, dude, I totally didn't see the bar. Oh, where is the bar? Well, DBM has all these fucking wacky countdowns and these crazy bars. Uncheck all the bars you don't need. If you have a UI that has a hard time seeing a cast bar or whatever, I don't know what to tell you. I use the default as much as I can. They've done a nice job with it lately. I think people shit on it too much. I use the default raid frames. Why? Because they know during the boss fights what to show. I don't want to set up grid and fucking heal bot, and believe me, it has some fucking benefits, especially healer side. But as a tank, I just want to see the debuffs that I want to see. On Fling here, as a tank, you can just spam taunt, and you have a 20% chance of it actually working when you land. I haven't found a better way to do it. If you're the tanking this big guy, you're just going to spend your whole fucking time being thrown and then bounced and then trying to taunt, but your job is really to keep it as close to the center as possible. Now, the little slime pools. You put them in the center for one reason, and that's the 3rd phase. I guess we'll talk about it in a bit, but just make sure you're putting the slime pools in the center. Don't stand in them, but put them in the center. So get a misdirect, get the boss down to the center, and tank both of them there. Manage the slimes, and really just wipe often and get back up there and pull, because people need practice. Okay, I just read this awesome tip over at Main Tankaden, one of my favorite sites. Just go to LFR and practice the construct. If you really want to get this down, have everyone go to LFR and practice this construct. Best way to do it is LFR. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. GG forums. One of the other tips was to have a priest do some mind control. That will let you set up your UI. I guess it's the same bar that's going to show up for the construct's energy. So if you got a priest in your guild, have him do some MC and you can see that bar. Okay, so back to the fight and back what we can do. What we found, and this is what you found in BT as well, is you just hope for the RNG that the people who've had the most practice or the most reliable people at doing it get it, and that's what equals your kill, is just the right people on your team getting it that aren't going to derp it up. Some people are going to pick it up faster than others. What can you do? If one of the explosions is going to get off because the guy's like, I can't see the cast bar, you can roll raid cooldowns and live through it. So don't give up there. Just save your devos and your avert harms and everything else that you bring, rallying cries and all this stuff. It's magic damage. To the best, yeah. It is magic damage. The explosions, both of them, whether the personal explosion and the big guy explosion, are both magic damage. You can pop one of those decay bubbles. You can have people pop immunities if they're low. Just be smart about it, and you don't have to wipe if someone derps out the explosion. Have someone always calling out when they're going to have to interrupt. So someone gets in the construct, what we like to do is, hey, you got 20 seconds till you have to interrupt the thing. Be smart. So they're going to hit the one button a couple times. You're going to get in position. And then we also have someone say, all right, just stop everything and wait for the damn interrupt. Now, this sounds like easy stuff, but it's the stuff that's going to save you some wipes. So a little bit of hand-holding goes a long way. So all this is magic damage coming in. You're going to become the little amber thingy, and your job is to stay alive. Now, here's a little RNG, right? If both your healers become a construct, that's kind of tough first, right? By the end, it makes everyone a construct, and you got to kill him, right? It's just a race. He keeps hitting harder. You keep losing healers. We 2-healed this, by the way. But it's like a 50-50 split on World of Logs between 3 healing and 2 healing, so do what works for you. Have the tanks roll cooldowns, have them get different immunities placed on them, like an intervene and this kind of stuff. I was able to tank it the whole time from, 70% down. So I didn't really have any big problem, and you'll see right there, blue square, that's our paladin healer, who we brought in just for this night because Kalen was sick, and so we brought in this kid, and he's been in the guild forever, so he's pretty good, but this was all new to him, so we're kind of walking him through, we're like, no, you got to get in there and auto attack, right? And then when your energy's running out, you got to go suck up a pool to get your energy back, and you got to keep DPSing, and those people DPSing make the fight go shorter. So you just burn, lust, burn, and go suck up pools. And the reason we have them in the middle, you see, right? Because these people need to suck up the pools to live. Oh, and then I got turned into a construct, and our brand new tank got insta-gibbed. Maybe he didn't pop a cooldown right out the gate, but as soon as you kill him, he kills everybody, I guess. And then you say, Onk, and your shaman's already burned Onk, which kind of sucks. It should reset every fight. That being said, again, subscribe, comment, give me a thumbs up. Help us out. If you have any tips and tricks on this fight, let us know. It's really just wipe a lot and get people in that fucking construct so they can practice. End of list. Wipe.